receipt of an application for a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, that's a big word, otherwise known as an NPDES modification from Wind Waste Innovations of Seneca County LLC, which we also know as Sunny Farms Landfill. Sorry? Sorry. Let me pull it up. Actually, no, I'm just going to take it off. All right, we'll try it that way. Sorry about that. Let me just repeat what I said. All right. So welcome to Ohio EPA's meeting regarding receipt of an application for an NPDES modification from Wind Waste Innovations of Seneca County, also known as Sunny Farms Landfill. My name is Max Moore. I am a public involvement coordinator with Ohio EPA's Public Interest Center. I will be facilitating this evening's meeting. With me tonight are Mallory Smith, Ashley Ward, and Ryan Gearhart. They are all with Ohio EPA's Division of Surface Water. We do appreciate you taking the time tonight to attend the meeting, and we welcome your interest in this decision-making process for this permit application. We do look forward to a productive meeting and a respectful and informative discussion. Talk about the process just real quickly. So the process for tonight's meeting will have three parts. First, we are going to have an information session. This is when Mallory and Ashley will give a brief presentation, which you see behind me, on the permit application. Secondly, then we will open the floor for question and answers. I think as you came in, you're instructed to fill out one of these yellow cards if you do have a question. So during the presentation, if you wish to ask a question and haven't yet filled out a card, I encourage you to do so, and then you can turn the card in to me or one of our EPA representatives, and I'll talk about how we'll go through the Q&A when we get to that part. And then the third part, the last part, is where we hold the actual public hearing. This is the time for you to make comments on the record about the permit application. If you wish to give testimony during the hearing, you'll need to fill out a blue card at the registration table again and turn it into me or one of the EPA representatives. I did want to make note, we do have a sign-in sheet also at the registration table. I do encourage you to add your name and contact information. This will ensure we have you on our mailing list to receive updates and mailings and status of not only this permit, but agency activities that concern this facility. So the purpose of the meeting tonight, we are going to discuss the application before us for this NPDES permit modification. We're going to cover what's known as anti-degradation rule, requirements and standards. And then lastly, during the public hearing, we're going to gather your comments regarding the request and potential impacts to waters of the state. Those comments will go on the public record, which will be considered by the director when she's making a decision about this permit. And then I do want to cover some topics that we will not be part of tonight's discussion are the operating licensure, the approval authority, the landfill expansion or approval process, and also air quality and drinking water concerns. If you have concerns about these topics, and I'm sure many of you do, you may reach out to me following the meeting, or you can submit those concerns during the public hearing as testimony on the public record, and those will be responded to. All right, now I will pass this over to Ashley to start the information session.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ashley Ward, and I'm an assistant chief with the Division of Surface Water in our central office. And the reason we're all here tonight is because Ohio EPA received an anti-degradation application to relocate 2 stormwater outfalls. Anti-degradation requires existing uses for water bodies to be maintained. And what that means is rivers and streams and lakes have different uses. For example, aquatic life live in streams, and so one of its beneficial uses is habitat for aquatic life. Or sometimes we recreate in the streams, and so another beneficial use would be for recreation. Anti-degradation is a federal requirement, and it requires that any permits that are issued do not result in a loss of use. The wind waste facility qualifies for an anti-degradation exclusion, and that is that any discharge of total suspended solids at or below 65 milligrams per liter. And what that means is the anti-degradation rule considers discharges below 65 milligrams per liter for total suspended solids to be de minimis, which means it's expected to have a negligible impact on the receiving stream. Now, the exclusion doesn't exempt a facility from any permitting requirements. It means that they don't have to submit an alternatives analysis and some economic and social justification that the rule would otherwise require. And again, the anti-degradation rule, at its heart, what it does is it prevents a loss of use in the receiving stream. And again, we have different beneficial uses, from aquatic life use to recreation to industrial water supply to agricultural water supply. And I am going to pass it to Mallory.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mallory Smith. I'm an environmental specialist too, out of the Bowling Green office. So tonight's application is for an MPDS modification for the proposed relocation of 2 existing stormwater sedimentation ponds, 001 and 003. These 2 ponds are proposed to be relocated on the property because the 2 existing locations would be located within the proposed limit of the solid waste placement expansion. This is the site map that was submitted with the application, depicting the location of the existing versus the proposed relocated outfalls. Highlighted in green is outfall 001, and highlighted in yellow is outfall 003. The existing stormwater sedimentation ponds 001 and 003 would not be operated at the same time as the proposed relocated ponds. The 2 existing ponds will be replaced by these new ponds. The discharge would cease at these 2 existing ponds and would then discharge from the 2 relocated outfalls. This modification is just one of the many steps that wind waste needs to go through if this expansion is approved to move forward. The treated stormwater would be discharged to unnamed tributaries of both the East Branch of the Portage River and to Wolf Creek. The discharge would be comprised of stormwater runoff that does not contain leachate. The discharge would need to comply with both federal and state water quality standards. This facility falls underneath US EPA's landfill effluent guidelines and standards, 40 CFR 445. The designated water body use for both the East Branch of the Portage River and for Wolf Creek is designated warm water habitat, agricultural water supply, industrial water supply, and primary contact recreation. The proposed discharge into the East Branch of the Portage River is located 2 3/4 miles upstream of the Fostoria public water intake. And Wolf Creek is located within the Sandusky River drainage basin. Outfall 001 will continue to discharge to Wolf Creek. Outfall 003 currently discharges to Wolf Creek and is proposed to discharge to the East Branch of the Portage River. Both outfalls 002 and 004 have no requested changes. The construction of these stormwater sedimentation ponds cannot begin until Wind Waste has applied for and is issued an approved permit to install. The ponds and outfalls cannot change unless Ohio EPA's Division of Materials and Waste Management moves forward with the landfill expansion request. Comments on the application will be accepted through 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on May 18th, 2023. Ohio EPA will be considering all the comments received during the comment period and from tonight's public hearing while reviewing this permit application. Based on the review of all information, a recommendation will be made to issue or deny a draft permit. Ohio EPA will public notice a proposed draft action and an associated comment period. Then the director will take a final action and a response to comments would be made available. And I'm going to pass it back off to Max.
Thank you, Mallory.